Hello and welcome. I'm Saeed from StoryPlanet.net. Dive right into the essence of the most captivating books without reading them cover to cover. Whether you're on the go, at the gym, or just relaxing at home, we offer you a unique and enriching listening experience. Today, we are exploring the book Superior, a creation by Angela Saini. Superior, 2019, traces the evolution of race science from its roots in the Enlightenment to its persistent contemporary influence. Despite ample evidence refuting it, the idea of biological race endures subtly. Although people may vary in appearance, behavior, and culture, genetically, we share significant similarities. Before we delve into these revelations, it's interesting to note that Angela Saini, a renowned British journalist and BBC radio host, has received multiple prestigious awards for her work, such as the European Young Science Writer of the Year in 2009 and the American Association for the Advancement of Science Gold Award in 2015. She is also the author of two highly praised books, Geek Nation, How Indian Science is Taking Over the World, and Inferior, How Science Got Women Wrong, which was honored as the Physics World Book of the Year in 2017. With 8 key ideas to unveil, brace yourself for a deep dive into this captivating book on StoryPlanet.net. To start, history of race science is explored to debunk myths surrounding it. The text highlights people's tendency to seek their origins in museums and the connection between ancestry and race. It discusses the misconceptions around race being a biological concept, emphasizing that it is a social construct. The text promises to explore the history of race science, debunk related myths, and discusses sensitive topics like IQ gaps and historical revisions. Key idea number 1. This text encourages individuals to explore the history of race science and debunk the myths associated with it. The text discusses how people often head to museum sections that represent their ancestry when visiting museums. It questions the reason behind this inclination and explores the concept of race as a social construct rather than a biological one. It outlines the history of race science, dispels myths around race, and cautions about graphic content in a specific section. Key idea number 2. Racism can be falsely justified through pseudoscientific claims. Scientists are influenced by biases, which have historically been used to justify racism through pseudoscientific beliefs and theories. Examples include Linnaeus categorizing people based on appearance, Cartwright diagnosing enslaved individuals with drapetomania, and the promotion of eugenics to breed desirable traits. Racism has often disguised itself as science, leading to discriminatory practices and atrocities such as forced sterilizations and genocide based on flawed scientific reasoning. Key idea number 3. Race science has been widely discredited, yet there are still individuals who adhere to its beliefs. The text discusses the discrediting of race science post-World War II with a historical overview of eugenics and its lingering impacts. It highlights the rejection of race science by mainstream scientific communities, the formation of UNESCO to combat racism, and the revelation of human genetic similarity. Despite scientific debunking, remnants of race-based beliefs persist, emphasizing genetic unity among humans and the debunking of biological racial differences. The founder effect and environmental adaptations contribute to varied appearances among populations. Although some sought a biological basis for race through blood type studies, the scientific community ultimately discredited racial differences based on genetics. Key idea number 4. Race science persists as race realism. In 1960, scientist Reginald Ruggles Gates co-founded the controversial journal Mankind Quarterly, promoting questionable race science, which aimed to support political arguments. Despite being dismissed by respected scientific circles, Mankind Quarterly continues to publish, used by individuals like white supremacist Jared Taylor to push a race realist narrative. Other race realists justify inequality policies under the guise of science, manipulating the conflation of race and culture to create barriers to social justice. This movement has seen increasing visibility and was highlighted during events like the Charlottesville neo-Nazi rally in 2017. Key idea number 5. Race science terminology is changing over time. Anthropologist Jonathan Marks was contacted in 1998 by journalist Steve Saylor, inviting him to an email list discussing human differences. Saylor and others equated biodiversity with racial differences, a concept explored through genetic projects. Despite good intentions, the project still carried undertones of race science from the past. It is emphasized that altering the vocabulary alone is insufficient. The conversation on race should focus on unity and resist categorizing and dividing people. Key idea number 6. Race is linked to our identity and has the potential to become risky. Cheddar Man, unearthed in 1903, initially depicted with white skin, later found to have genetic markers for dark skin. Race can shape identity, but can be misleading. Ancestors look different from modern people. Case in India shows dangers of rewriting history to fit narratives, leading to atrocities and justification of crimes based on false beliefs. Key idea number 7. Environmental factors, not genetics, have the greatest influence on IQ. The Bajau people have larger spleens that help them hold their breath longer for free diving. Environmental factors, rather than genetics, are the main determiners of IQ. Studies show that socioeconomic status has a bigger impact on IQ than race. Social and economic advantages can significantly affect IQ, and there are disparities in IQ scores within different populations based on social and economic factors rather than genetics. Key idea number 8. Genetic determinism is still overemphasized in healthcare and biology. Gregor Mendel's genetics work led to the idea of genetic determinism, which wrongly suggests genes solely shape individuals. This belief impacts healthcare, where diseases like schizophrenia and hypertension are incorrectly associated with specific races, ignoring environmental factors. Racism and bias, not genetics, are the true issues that need addressing in society. In conclusion, the text explores the history of race science from the Enlightenment to its challenges after World War II. It highlights how race is not a biological category but can offer cultural identity. Despite being debunked by researchers like Boas and Mead, race-related pseudoscience persists. This underscores the importance of acknowledging race as a social construct. The text also invites feedback on its content and suggests further reading on the topic. Thank you for listening to this summary. If you enjoyed this exploration, we invite you to discover other fascinating books on storyplanet.net. Don't wait any longer. A multitude of books, stories, and knowledge await you there. See you soon on storyplanet.net.